Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Arvada City Council meeting for today, Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. I will call upon Councilmember Ambrose for a moment of reflection and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in a moment of silence. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Rush, if you'll do the roll call.
Mayor Simpson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Here.
Councilmember Ambrose.
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Here.
Councilmember Griffith.
Here.
Councilmember Levison.
Here. Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the minutes for March 24th, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections to the record? Seeing none, those stand approved. Next, we have the recognitions and communications section. Councilmember Levison will be presenting the proclamation for National Kite Month.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So this has a special place in my heart. I started kind of my journey with Arvada with the Festivals Commission. Hi, Adele. Hi, the rest of the crew. And there's a really cool history behind Kite Festival, which is coming up this weekend, Sunday the 12th, from 11 to 4. And that's that it started with 70 people on the western side of Arvada, and it is now 7,000 people from all over. So really, really cool to see that change along the years. And it also just to recognize that volunteers are a huge foundation in our community. Kite Festival, again, specifically talking about that, brings a really amazing ageless joy. You might drop into feeling like a kid again. You might want ice cream, but it's a really magical event. And we were able to provide a lot of creative involvement. So congratulations to Vihan, who was voted by the community with his design of the inaugural Arvada Kite Festival Youth T-shirt Design Contest. Also, I voted for yours, as I mentioned to you. Really awesome. And so his design will be on T-shirts, and you'll be able to purchase them at the festival. And all proceeds will benefit Ralston House. So just altogether, really, really awesome. So I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Y'all could come up for a picture. And then if anybody would like to say something, you are more than welcome to do so. Whereas the City of Arvada is committed to fostering vibrant community traditions that bring residents, families, and visitors together in celebration of creativity, recreation, and the outdoors, and kite flying, is a timeless activity enjoyed by people of all ages, encouraging imagination, artistic expression, and healthy outdoor play under Colorado's wide open skies. And the annual Arvada Kite Festival serves as a joyful community gathering where residents can celebrate spring, share in family-friendly activities, and experience the beauty and excitement of kites in flight. And National Kite Month, observed each April, recognizes the cultural history and global traditions of kite flying while inspiring communities to explore science, art, and aerodynamics through this beloved pastime. And whereas events such as the Arvada Kite Festival strengthen community bonds, promote outdoor recreation in our parks and open spaces, and create lasting memories for families throughout our city. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and members of the Arvada City Council designate April 2026 as National Kite Month in Arvada. We encourage all residents to participate in the Arvada Kite Festival on Sunday, April 12th from 11 to 4 at Stanger Sports Complex, fly kites with family and friends, and enjoy the spirit of community that makes our city a wonderful place to live, work, and play. You guys can come up.
Yeah. Come on up for the photo, please. Do it over here. Come on over, Bobby. Oh, let's grab the shirts.
Mary, took yours upside down. No, I'm just kidding.
Can't pick on me. I answer.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3.
It's true. I did get it cut out.
I would like a shirt when you get a chance. I'm a medium, thank you.
Please, we'd love for you to say a few words about your design.
Hello, my name is Vihan, and I'm thankful for everyone for voting for me in the Arvada Kite Festival.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is David Vega. I'm the chair of the Kite Festival this year on the Festivals Commission. I just want to say thank you for recognizing Kite Month now going forward. This is the 21st annual Kite Festival. We hope to see you all on Sunday, and you can get these wonderful shirts and make your own kite, bring your own kite, or you can buy kites there, and they will also benefit the Ralston House. So thank you.
Let's go fly a kite. All right, wonderful. Next, we have public comment. This is the 3-minute public comment period for anything that is not on this evening's agenda. Some quick housekeeping items. I think all of you maybe know the rules. We always ask that you keep your comments directed to council and not to other members of the chambers. We also ask that you respect the decorum of the chambers. Also, no applauding, no booing. We want everyone to feel very welcome. All right, with that, I will call up our first sign up for the evening, Mr. Mike Rawlick. Oh, and name and address when you come to the microphone.
Well, good evening, Mayor. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Good evening, Council. And really didn't know she was going to be here today, so this is great news that she's getting to recover so quickly. Real quick, a long time ago, we heard about possibly talking about show tunes. And last year, Lindsay and I went out to Utah to go see Les Mis, and I didn't know that the composer actually wrote Miss Saigon as well. So anyone else who's making a public comment, maybe we can talk about a show tune first to kick it all off. But I did want to talk about something that was on the consent agenda, so I guess that's public comment period right now. The golf course situation that we're seeing again, talking about trespass and this has nothing to do with the person in the station. It has to do with the division of duties in government. And we're going back to a director can trespass someone off of public property for up to 6 months, where a police officer can only do so for 14 days. And that would be a call. We talked about this during the regular parks portion. So the worry here is there's different duties. A judge can find someone guilty of trespass. A police officer goes through training for rights and things like that to be able to give a 14-day notice, and that's under code. But for an employee that doesn't have that kind of training and is not barred and not sworn in as a judge, to give someone a trespass for 6 months, I feel is problematic. And the Constitution of Colorado does say due process of law. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. You can consider this to be an abridgment of liberty. I'm not saying this person is not deserving of being trespassed, but it's the mechanism of how. Trial by jury, Section 23, the right of trial by jury shall remain inviolate in criminal cases, but a jury in civil cases in all courts or criminal cases in courts of records may consist of less than 12 persons, which could be just a judge himself or herself. So that's Colorado Constitution as well. And we hearken back to what happened in 2024 with the HB 24-1296, the vexatious requester for the Cora custodians. It was going to be that a custodian could determine if someone was a vexatious requester, give you a legal title, and then you would have to go appeal that. So you're guilty and then proven innocent. And that was a bipartisan no. It lost. And I think Polis also signed no on that one. I don't even know if it made it to him. But at that time, there was a situation if a person or entity that has been determined by the custodian to be a vexatious requester may appeal the determination to a district court. It's very similar to right now, because I could be guilty of trespass in an employee's mind, and I have to then go clear my name in the court. I'm not going to the court to have my due process. I'm going to the court to try to clear my name because I'm already guilty. But welcome back. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Lynn Clemens.
Good evening, Council. My name is Lynn Clemens, 6202 Kilmer Loop, Unit 102, Arvada. I'm here to just give you a little update on what's happening in Jefferson County. My community, Westwood Villas, actually borders Jefferson County, and tomorrow night, Jefferson County will be finalizing, or the Planning Commission will be looking at approving their Master Comprehensive Plan. It took 3 years for this plan to be put together, and I have to admit there was a lot of hard work on the county staff. There was a lot of transparency with the public and a lot of input from the public, and I actually went to a lot of meetings, put in my 2 cents online, and it's a very, very aggressive plan, very, very well thought out plan. I do have a small problem with it, and that is the future land use map. Future land use map is actually going to be precedence over any of the area plans, and they're not planning on revising the area plans for 5 to 7 years. So this future land use map is going to have some teeth to it. One of the areas that I'm concerned about, obviously, since I live in West Arvada, is some of the verbiage that was in the comprehensive plan about the McIntyre corridor. Apparently, the county still thinks, and coming out in this plan, is that there can still be a lot of traffic on the McIntyre corridor. However, the last public input was almost 9 months ago, June and July of 2025. That was the last public input that they took. Since then, a lot of things have happened in Arvada, north of 64, around 64th, to add to the traffic on McIntyre. I'm very concerned about the traffic on McIntyre, not only from the warehouse standpoint, but 128 rental homes at 54th and McIntyre. And then we have 2 possible traffic-producing projects in Arvada, both the Welby Gardens and off 67th and Indiana, with a whole walkable community with commercial. That has drawn the attention of CDOT. And I've been in front of you to talk about CDOT's intervention and working with the county. I know Don Wick and Joe Kirby are working with CDOT regarding the traffic. If the land use map is adopted the way it's there, there's going to be no end to the development on McIntyre from the county. I'm asking that the city work with the county to produce a unified map for West Arvada, and then maybe from there we could have unified land use code. I would like everyone to take a look and work cooperatively for West Arvada. I'm going to actually ask the planning committee tomorrow to stop the land use, not adopt the land use plan in West Arvada, to work.
All right, Ms. Clemens.
To work with West Arvada for cooperative collaboration. Thank you. And I'm going to leave my letter that I'm sending the Planning Commission for you all to read.
Thank you, Ms. Clemens. All right, next we have Kristen Klipka.
Hello, my name is Kristen Klipka, and I live at 12707 West 85th Circle. I've lived in Arvada my entire life, and I am 24 years old, and I'm also currently the secretary on the Arvada Sustainability Advisory Committee. However, I am not speaking on their behalf today. I'm speaking on my own behalf. As a member of this community, I'm so thrilled that Council is considering adopting the Climate and Sustainability Action Plan. And I'm here today to voice my full support for the CASUP, as we call it, and also to speak to the benefits of centering equity in the implementation of the plan. Sustainability and equity work hand in hand to increase affordability, reduce waste, improve access to services, and to improve the overall quality of life in the city. The CASIP includes equity and inclusion as a priority criteria because if the city does not intentionally strive to serve everyone to the best of its ability, regardless of socioeconomic status, race, ethnicity, housing status, primary language, and physical and mental ability, sustainability initiatives ultimately will fail and leave critical community members behind. Equity allows us to maximize the benefits of sustainability for the entire community rather than focusing on the folks who might be more resourced and might have louder voices. The CASIP encourages council to prioritize projects that are proactive in improving access for services for and including people that are part of historically marginalized and disadvantaged groups. This will help the city get sustainability projects right the first time and reduce rework. It will encourage city staff to work harder, smarter, not harder. For example, providing information in waste reduction in multiple languages would increase participation in city programs and ultimately make a more successful waste reduction program. In conclusion, equity and inclusion are vital to the CASIP and will help ensure its access, and I believe the implementation of the CASIP will protect what I love most about Arvada, the people and our nature. And it will also improve the community overall by helping create cleaner air, improving access to services, and also building trust in the city because we will walk the walk when it comes to serving everyone. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. The last sign-up sheet I have is Laurel Matry.
Good evening, Mayor Simpson, City Council members. My name's Laurel Matry. I live at 5713 Ellison Street, across the street, right there. I am current homeowner in Old Town, resident of Arvada for the last 9 years. I also am a policy advisor for the City of Boulder and served 10 years as sustainability manager in school districts. So I have a lot of experience in sustainability. And then finally, I'm a parent of a child who loves all that Arvada offers: golf courses, parks, trails, rivers. I'm here today to highly encourage your support for the adoption of the Climate Action and Sustainability Plan. This plan has been developed over the last 3 years with expertise from Lotus Engineering, Sustainability Advisory Committee, and Arvada City staff. The plan has also gone through several rounds of community engagement. As is stated in the draft plan, this plan will set an ambitious roadmap intended to build community resilience, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and foster sustainable development in Arvada. As I mentioned, the plan has gone through a rigorous stakeholder engagement process to ensure that the recommended goals and strategies within this document are in alignment with what city staff is already doing and can do in the future. Second, the Arvada City Council strategic plan. And third, what is reasonable to achieve in terms of community outreach and education. So I think it's a reasonable plan. And I've actually sat on a lot of the committee that was developing the plan over time, over the last 3 years. When implemented, the CASIP will benefit the Arvada economy and community in the following ways. Will economically benefit Arvada by encouraging energy efficiency in building design and operations, saving building owners and renters money. It will benefit Arvada businesses through increased energy efficiency strategies and savings. There's a lot of commercial financial incentives and support programs available that we're not making the connection to for our business owners and for people that are interested in developing new businesses in Arvada, and the plan has strategies for that. There's a community benefit in the plan with the protection of sensitive habitat, wildlife, and waterways. It's what Arvadans and I love about living here. Another community benefit of the plan is the protection of our urban forests. Another community benefit is improvement of local air quality. We have an air quality issue in Colorado and particularly in the Denver metro region, and the plan calls for increased electric fleet vehicles and support of alternative transportation options for folks who live in Arvada. Another community benefit is increased waste diversion opportunities with recommendations like composting, more lawn waste pickups, and just more education in general about our diversion program. And finally, the plan contains strategies for increased water conservation opportunities through education and efficiency practices. So all of those benefits are taken directly from the draft plan. This is a reasonable plan, like I said. And I think it's time for the city of Arvada to step up and join other cities in the region who have already adopted climate and sustainability action plans. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Mattery. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will close. Yes, welcome. Come on in. We'll need name and address for the public record, and then otherwise, whenever you're ready.
Yes, hi. My name is Debbie Bacon, and my address is 7957 Chase Circle in the Westdale Townhomes. Hi. So I actually come today from an HOA meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago in my community, and the issue of water rates was brought up. And it was brought to our attention that water rates for public or for multifamily complexes are, the rates are higher than they are for single-family homes. And we do not feel like that seems fair, and we were wondering actually if it's possible to request the City of Arvada Council to look at those rates and equalize them and normalize them. We are wondering whether we're even going to be able to fill our community pool. We do not use the amount of water that a standard resident would use for a single-family home on a per-person basis. We use on average almost half of what they would use. So to charge us the higher, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry.
Tier.
The higher rates that businesses would have to pay just because we are a larger complex and have one water bill seems unfair and certainly undue to a community full of residents who are on fixed incomes, who, even if they're not on a fixed income, many of our residents make minimum wage. You know, they are living there because they are lower income. So to charge lower income people a higher rate seems drastically unfair. Yeah, that is all. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. So what I'm going to ask you to do is we have these sheets. Give that to Ms. Rush, and a member of our team will be in touch with you, okay?
Okay.
I promise.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will close the public comment portion of this evening's agenda, and we have one item on the consent agenda for approval. It is R26-026, a resolution authorizing acceptance of donations made to the Majestic View Nature Center in 2025. Ms. Davis.
I'd like to reserve the motion.
Well, it's consent agenda, so
Okay.
go right ahead.
So I move R26-026, a resolution authorizing acceptance of donations made to the Majestic View Nature Center in 2025 be approved.
All right. All votes are cast. That passes 7-0. Yes, Ms. Levisone, you wish to speak?
I just also wanted to acknowledge the fact that as a passionate and engaged volunteer in the community, I really appreciated them sharing that 2,216 hours valued at almost $86,000 is happening over there. So just a huge thank you to any volunteers at home. We see you, we appreciate you, and thanks for all you do.
Absolutely. All right. I believe I said it, but just in case I didn't, that passes 7-0 for the record. All right. Next, we have two resolutions this evening. We'll begin with R26-027, a resolution authorizing a First Amendment to an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Arvada and Jefferson County Public Library designating maintenance responsibilities for the Rocky Mountain Greenway Trailhead at Stanley Lake Library. Mr. Darren DeLay, Parks Urban and Design Manager, you have this item.
Thank you, members of council. Darren DeLay, Parks and Urban Design Manager. It's been a while, 2 weeks. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to present tonight on behalf of the Parks and Urban Design team. Share some background on the Stanley Lake Library Trailhead, the connection to the Rocky Mountain Greenway, and hopefully answer the three questions that were provided in advance of tonight's meeting by Councilmember Levisone. The City of Arvada determined that the work for the Stanley Lake Library Trailhead was completed and constructed in accordance with the approved project plans and specifications as of June 24th, 2025. We also refer to that date as the warranty commencement date. Total fees for the project included $97,520 to DHM Design Corporation for the design, $777,240 to Colorado Designscapes for construction of the trailhead. And of note of that, those total fees, city applied for Jefferson County Open Space Trails Partnership Grant back in May of 2021, or in December of 2020, and was awarded that grant in May of 2021 for the amount of $300,516.56. Those fees were supplemental to that total project cost of $867,760. What's unique about this trailhead and those funds is that none of the property in which the trailhead is constructed on is owned by the city of Arvada. The property is Jefferson County Public Library property, and on June 18th, 2021, the city and JCPL entered into an agreement that outlined the funding, access, and maintenance responsibilities, and now desire to amend that agreement via the resolution. The amendment request would remove the city of any future maintenance and warranty fees associated with repair or replacement of site features, including but not limited to associative trails, the plaza, the shade structure, site furnishing, signs that were all included as part of that project. A little more background on this project: that we worked in close collaboration with JCPL on the 3-acre project and built the only trailhead serving the Rocky Mountain Greenway within the city of Arvada on JCPL property. The trailhead is currently operated under the existing IGA, and the IGA outlines the use of the existing facilities, which is primarily the parking lot and the associated grounds that I had mentioned prior. It provides universal access where previously none existed from the library, the existing parking area, and Kipling Street to the Central Public Trailhead. From this hub, multiple new ADA accessible routes lead to the Rocky Mountain Greenway. Site program elements include environmental education, wayfinding, pedestrian and bicycle user enhancements, and those are all located within the outdoor gathering area that we refer to as the Stanley Lake Library Trailhead. No facilities previously existed to provide access from the library or the parking area to the Rocky Mountain Greenway, which is a 25-mile plus regional spine with a vision to expand in length all the way to the Rocky Mountain National Park in the future. Rocky Mountain Greenway sits approximately 90 to 100 feet from its closest point to the library and utilizes Farmers Reservoir and Irrigation Company. We refer to that as FRICO often, one more acronym, on FRICO land, and is operated under a separate non-exclusive access easement that was initially executed in September of 2015 and amended in August 15th of 2023 to include the new trailhead and associative connections to the Rocky Mountain Greenway with the 2 accessible routes. Construction of the Stanley Lake Library Trailhead was completed in June of 2025. Some further discussion about the IGA itself of note is, in the roles and responsibilities of that IGA, JCPL was identified as responsible for maintenance of the trailhead and soft surface trail, including mowing, snow removal, landscaping, trash removal, irrigation, monthly cost of electricity and water utilities, and the existing Stanley Lake Library parking lot. The roles and responsibilities of the city included cleaning, repair or replacement of site features, including but not limited to trails, plaza, shelter, furnishings, and signs, site furnishings and signs. Construction of the trailhead, including all the construction administration, which we did, permitting, design, and engineering requirements, and then the water and sewer tap fees if required. And the repair and replacement of any JCPL property that would have been damaged or required relocation during construction. Both JCPL and the city agreed that trailhead users may use the existing parking lot and share a schedule of planned outdoor events and programs to ensure that the parking needs of both parties were met. Moving forward, JCPL wishes to amend the responsibilities for the city to be enforced through December 31st, 2026, as I previously have outlined here. At the end of that period, the ownership and the maintenance of the plaza, shelter, furnishings, and trails that are contained within JCPL's property lines will be relinquished in their entirety to JCPL, and the city would assign any relevant contractor and manufacturer warranty to JCPL, including the extended warranty period of 3 years from the previously mentioned warranty commencement date for the concrete sidewalks and ramps that were constructed as part of the project. We added an additional year to the 2-year maintenance, 2-year workmanship warranty on the concrete. I'm going to address the 3 questions. How does this specific trailhead and maintenance agreement fit into the broader long-term plan for the Rocky Mountain Greenway, particularly regarding ownership, maintenance standards, and user demand as the system expands. Think I understand this question. If I missed part of it, please just weigh in. There is the non-exclusive access easement with FRICO, which was amended in August 23 with the language that is inclusive of the trailhead and supports the 2 connection points of the trailhead to the RMG and maintenance associated with it. The amendment of the IGA with the Stanley Lake Library memorializes what was already an understanding that the library owned the property, owned those features of the trailhead on the property as well, in which it was constructed. Does that answer that?
Yeah, for me too, it was just kind of, we've got a connection to this and just what it looks like on a bigger scale, so folks at home and myself just kind of know what we're part of.
Yeah, great, thanks. There was another question about the understanding that locally the trail is a trail by Stanley Lake, and regionally it's a 25-plus mile corridor. And at the state and federal level, it's been a priority project. All of that's true. Has the national climate changed this priority in any way? I don't know. That's the best. I think that where we had some concerns with Gold Strike Park and some of our federal grant and funding with some of the program and the election cycle, there was some concern that was published and put out publicly that maybe there could be concern. But we haven't heard anything related to that recently. In Jefferson County, Open Space and Trails are moving forward with their own pieces of the trail that we're not a part of and aren't in City of Arvada property. So that's the best I can answer that. And then lastly, if I'm reading this correctly, Arvada will maintain through December 31st, 2026, and then we hand off everything to JCPL and have zero responsibility after that. That's correct. Yep. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Councilmember Pfeiffer?
I think it's on the first question, but I want to be crystal clear. So what prevents them from closing the trailhead?
To my knowledge, nothing, nor would, I guess, anything preclude us from keeping it open because it's not our property. That's my understanding.
But I think my fear is there was a lot, because I did the ribbon cutting with both Hickenlooper, I can name a bunch of senators, and now that we relinquish it, I feel like there's no control to keep that open. I mean, there was a big splash about this trailhead. And so if we transfer everything over to them, which it's their property, I get it, but it's also $1 million of almost $1 million worth of taxpayer money, and federal people were involved.
Yeah.
And it's part of the bigger, Greenway trail.
Yep.
I think we should have something in there that any discussion of any changes to the access or to the trail itself needs to be, I think it needs to be reviewed by us. I just feel like just signing it over and say, well, it's not our problem anymore, it's maintenance, it's not ours. But then they're like, we don't want to maintain it anymore because it's too much money, because we just opened another library in Candelas, and now we got to shut this down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I worry about that.
I think to be honest, I would have had those concerns of building this from the onset, and the application was done prior to my arrival at the city. Building an asset that's not on city-owned property. There was a lot of community engagement with the library and engagement to determine what the trailhead would look like. There was a lot of art projects associated with that as well. The library did not bring in any of the money. They provided the land. A project that I would sort of maybe note as similar and might be an avenue for us to explore would be Serenity Ridge Park, where what's the school? RRNC?
Well, let me give you an example. Wolf Park scares me, because we built a huge park.
I don't know the history, but I'm going to write that down.
Huge park on land we do not own, and now they're going to sell it.
That's here, Ralston.
So I just want to make sure.
Hold on. Ms. Morris, would you like to weigh in here?
Yes, please. Yeah. Well, actually, not me. It's someone smarter than me. Ms. Strickler would like to weigh in. I think she has a little bit of clarification that might help answer some of these questions.
I'll listen.
I just wanted to clarify, so the IGA that Mr. DeLay mentioned, that does still remain in effect. So what we're doing is doing an amendment just to address the ownership of the property, but there is still mutual obligations that remain on both the Jefferson County Public Library and Arvada, and one of those specifically does require that both parties will agree to cooperate and work together during the development, construction, maintenance, and preservation of that trail. So Arvada still does get a say in kind of how that property is utilized, and we'll still work with Jefferson County to make sure the trail remains open. So that's not changing with this amendment. We can still make sure that it's preserved on the back end.
Because I find just history has shown with parks and trails, when we lose the land or we put it on land, it seems like the landowner doesn't really care about anything beyond the property lines themselves. And when you create a trail or a park, like a multi-million-dollar park across the street here, and then it could be taken away, I think we just need to make sure that our contracts are watched, monitored, and enforced with those investments and expectations.
I should have referred to
the attorneys.
I know better.
Sometimes I still want to get it out, and then they end up correcting.
It's already. It states that they own the land, and it is good to know that we'll work in concert.
All right, as long as we watch that, and if that comes up. Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Thank you, and thank you, Councilmember Pfeiffer, for bringing that up. I think that is a concern I share as well. And as someone who lives very close to this trailhead, I really appreciate the benefits it's brought to the region. And one of my concerns was around maintenance. So we had an issue this last year in which I got a lot of calls during the summer about how tall the grass was growing and then actually impeding the sidewalks and stuff because the grass was falling down and not being maintained. And so it took a number of complaints to get a response from the library to actually then maintain it. So is that situation going to improve? Can you shed any light on the maintenance of this?
I don't mean this to be an offhanded answer, but as an employee of the city, I can't speak to the library's own maintenance programming. However, we have been in communication with Steve Chestnut, who is the director there at the library, and so we can share this expressed concern. The tall grasses, the mowing, the irrigation work, that wouldn't have fallen under the city's maintenance programming. It literally would have been if benches need to be replaced because of graffiti or they became unhinged or broken, or shade structure. It was about that type of infrastructure and none of the softscape where the library maintained it. But
no, yeah. I understand that. Yeah. And I think back to Councilmember Pfeiffer's point is this was a partnership between us and the library, and so I think we need to make sure, through the IGA and our work, that we continue on that partnership and making sure that is strong and that we are, communicating to our partner about, the benefits this brings and needs to be maintained for our whole community. So I appreciate that continual communication with them and working with them on that.
I'll share this with Steve Chestnut again, and moving forward, this would be our expectation.
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I went to the ribbon cutting with my little dog, and I believe Mr. Mormon was there with me. We had a great time. Oh, that's right. So I use that trailhead quite often when running distance, so I'm excited about this amenity, and as is my running group, so we're very excited about it being there. Does the Greenway Foundation have any stake in the trailhead whatsoever?
Financially?
Or even with maintenance in any way, shape, or form, other than just
Not
having
that
a
I'm aware of,
sign
and
that says...
I could phone my legal representative again if there's anything that's specific to Greenway Foundation mentioned in the IGA, but I don't believe so.
I don't think so either.
Okay, I just was checking because it seems like since the trail is is a section of their trail, they would have kind of a horse in the race.
All right. I'll welcome discussion, or if there is none, a motion. All right. I hear Ms. Davis saying she'll take the motion.
I move that R26-027, a resolution authorizing a First Amendment to an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Arvada and Jefferson County Public Library designating maintenance responsibility for the Rocky Mountain Greenway Trailhead at the Stanley Lake Library be approved. And thank you so much for working on that.
Absolutely. All right, all votes are cast. That passes 7-0. Our second resolution this evening is R26-028, a resolution adopting a golf course facility visitor code of conduct. Mr. Stevenson, I believe you have this item.
I do. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, governing body. Before I begin, I wanted to acknowledge that we received questions from Councilor Levinson, and so probably towards the end of the presentation, we'll get those addressed if they aren't addressed during my presentation. I'm also joined this evening by Janelle Strickler, who is our assigned city attorney, and Derek Kuhl, who is our deputy director over golf operations. Derek will assist in addressing operational questions following my presentation. At its core, this policy is about protecting the experience for both our residents and our employees. This policy is needed to address documented behavioral issues at our facilities and to ensure we have clear, consistent expectations and enforcement tools in place to protect our staff, our guests, and the overall experience. Council, our golf courses are not just recreation amenities. They are community gathering spaces that reflect the community's values, those being among them safety, respect, and high-quality service. This code of conduct establishes clear, consistent expectations so that everyone, including our golfers, our families, restaurant patrons, and staff, can enjoy these spaces in a safe, welcoming, and orderly environment. The purpose of the code is to ensure our golf facilities are used in a safe, orderly, and efficient manner while maintaining a welcoming and family-friendly environment. This is not a new authority. It is grounded in city code, which authorizes the city manager to adopt rules necessary for the operation of recreational facilities. So I want to spend a moment on why this matters. Why? Well, over time, we have experienced a range of incidents at our golf facilities that highlight the need for a clear and enforceable standard. These have included harassment of staff and inappropriate behavior in clubhouse settings, intoxication leading to property damage and disruption of play, verbal abuse directed at staff enforcing basic operations, safety concerns, including misuse of cart misuse and individuals remaining on site while impaired. These are not everyday occurrences, but they are significant when they happen, and they impact both our employees' safety and the customer's experience. This code of conduct gives us the ability to clearly communicate those expectations up front and respond consistently when issues arise. There's three areas here that this code does for the operation. First, it sets clear behavioral expectations. Secondly, it protects employees and our guests. And third, it provides consistent enforcement tools for our staff. And importantly, this is not about adding restrictions. It's about ensuring our positive experience for the vast majority of users who are already doing the right thing. There's some strategic plan alignment as well. Wanted to make mention of that. This policy aligns closely with the City Council's strategic plan, especially the quality of life priority. It ensures our public spaces like Lake Arbor and Westwoods are safe, that they're inclusive, and enjoyable for all of our users. It also supports our commitment to excellent service delivery by giving our staff clear, consistent tools to manage behavior, reduce that conflict, and maintain the high-quality experiences our community has come to appreciate. And importantly, it reflects our responsibility to steward public assets and support our employees in delivering services safely and effectively. There's been public process and transparency as well. We followed the required public process. The proposed code was introduced to the Arvada Parks Advisory Committee back in December. A formal public hearing was noticed and held on January 14th. The community was invited to participate, and while no public comments were received, the process ensured transparency and opportunity for the input. So this aligns with our administrative rulemaking requirements under City Code. From an operational standpoint, this does give our staff clarity and consistency in how expectations are communicated and enforced. It also helps us reduce conflicts on sites, support our frontline employees. We want to do that in real time, and maintain the quality and the reputation of our golf system. So as I finish out my comments here, this code of conduct is a common sense, value-based policy that supports safe, respectful, and enjoyable use of our golf facilities. It reinforces what we already strive to deliver every day: exceptional public spaces where everyone feels welcome and respected. This is about setting the tone for how we treat each other in Arvada's public spaces, and ensuring our golf facilities continue to reflect the very best of our community. I respectfully request Council's approval of this resolution. We'll be ready to answer any other questions, but we'll pause here and begin to work through the questions that we received a little bit earlier. I'll hand it over to Derek Kuhl, who's our Deputy Director, and this operation reports directly to him. Many of your questions were operational, so he'll give me a hand here.
Good evening, Council. I'm Derek Kuhl, Deputy Director of VCN. Mayor, it's great to see you. I have the honor and privilege of being able to work with the Golf and Restaurants team for the past 3.5 years. Fortunately, Golf Manager and Superintendent couldn't make it tonight. And please give Joe Coonsey, our Superintendent, a hard time. He just landed in Atlanta for the Masters. So when you see Joe, give him a hard time, please. A couple of the questions we received. How are staff trained to apply subjective standards like disruptive or inappropriate conduct consistently? It's a great question. Our team, there are 2 employee handbooks, one for golf, on the golf management side of things, and then one on the restaurants, food and beverage side of things. Obviously, those books of business are very unique, very different. Our team trains on an annual basis and then quarterly throughout the year on processes and procedures. One of the big trainings that the restaurants team undertakes is the TIPS training. So Colorado TIPS training, if you're not familiar, is really about intervention when you're serving alcohol in particular. So that's a pretty extensive training. You're required to attend, I think, in person 3 times over the course of 3 years. But that's a pretty extensive training. The golf team, when it comes to dealing with customers in particular, fall back on a lot of guidelines from the PGA of America. So our head pro, our golf managers across both facilities are responsible for adhering to those kind of best practices from the PGA of America. The second question I got here, and then just to get into a little bit more of the details about disruptive and inappropriate conduct. So our team, obviously there's a lot of training. On a busy day, we'll see 300 customers come through the doors to golf in the summer. And so we're dealing with quite a few customers. And so our team is really well adept when it comes to conflict resolution and de-escalation across the board. And so really it's about sitting down with the customer that we might have a particular situation with, talking it through with them. If that situation is not resolving itself, then it gets kicked to a supervisor. A supervisor being a front of house manager in the restaurants, back of house manager in the restaurants, or one of our assistant golf pros or head golf pros would step in when it comes to that situation. And if the situation doesn't resolve itself, the next call typically is to Arvada Police Department to come out. The next question was, which staff positions are authorized to enforce removal or issue directives? Does this include rangers and frontline staff or only supervisors? It's a great question. Our frontline staff usually are the first ones to encounter a situation, but as far as issuing any notice or asking a patron to leave, that would fall onto a supervisor. Like I mentioned, assistant golf pro, front of house manager at one of our restaurants, they're the ones making that call, making that decision. And then the third question was, what is the process for a visitor who feels that they are unfairly removed or sanctioned, particularly for same-day removals that do not rise to the level of a trespass notice? It's a great question. So we typically handle it right then and there with de-escalation tactics with the supervisor on duty. And if it gets to the point that we have to ask a patron to leave, we will do so. And then, if there's a refusal to leave, we will call APD and have them come out. If we were in the event that, to my knowledge, I haven't seen this happen in 4 years, a customer were to come back after they've been asked to leave, we would then be reaching out to APD again. But as far as the minor details and real specifics and mechanics of due process, Janelle, did I miss anything?
No, I think what Mr. Cool's trying to highlight, so for due process, really the two main principles that you need to be provided notice and an opportunity to be heard. And when we're doing those single day kind of deprivations, when we're asking you to leave the establishment for the next couple of hours, we're going to speed up that due process. We're not going to hand you a ticket and say, go to the judge to talk about whether or not you can come back in 3 hours, because that's not realistic. So really what would happen is that conversation that occurs on site. The manager would go up, or whoever, I guess, is going to approach the customer to handle that conversation, provide them notice, what's going on, what the proposed course of action is. Hey, we need to get your conduct under control, otherwise we're going to need you to leave. Have that conversation, allow the patron the opportunity to be heard. Maybe it's just a mishap, surrounding a bar tab or something like that. Once they have the opportunity to be heard, they're going to have that conversation there on site. And if the decision is to ask the customer to then leave because they have become so escalated that it's not possible to not get the police department involved, then they have really been afforded that due process there and then on site. And then we'd have the police department come in and follow up. If it does rise to the level of a crime, then the PD might follow up with an actual trespass notice that would go to the judge. But the due process is just much shorter when we're doing that single day kind of deprivation for the next couple hours kind of thing.
Thank you, Janelle. Deprivation, I'm going to commit that to memory. Thank you. And then the final question was, how does this compare to Indian Tree managed by Apex? Did we reach out and take a look at their policy? I know, so a lot of this benchmarking fell to Nora Stevenson in the city attorney's office. Nora, of course, did a wonderful job benchmarking very extensively. I think the code of conduct as you see it right now is mainly based off of the town of Parker. We did reach out to Apex. They have a uniformed visitor code of conduct that is applicable to all of their facilities across the board. As you can imagine, when you have rec centers, pools, parks, and a golf course, they want to have that umbrella policy in effect. And that is not unlike what you'll see down at South Suburban Parks and Rec District. They have something very, very similar. There are a couple golf courses that do kind of stand out that are public facilities. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Common Ground Golf Course in Denver. It's owned by the Colorado Golf Association, open to the public. Do a lot of lessons and a lot of work with kids around Grow the Game. And then also we reached out to our counterparts in Westy as well as Lakewood. And then the city of Fort Collins has a pretty comprehensive code of conduct as well. And then I'll be remiss if I forget, when it comes to the private side of things, one of the most robust visitor codes of conduct you'll see is from Chipotle. When we were doing our benchmarking, I find that kind of fascinating. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
A native Denver business. All right, Mr. Moorman.
Thank you. I do have a follow-up on the trespass, and this goes back to the public comment by Mr. Rollick. So as I understand the point that was being made about how our director can issue trespass for 6 months, and then the question was, my question is, what's the due process? I appreciate the explanation for, it sounded like, a very immediate issue, but when you're dealing with something where the director comes in and issues that, much longer trespass violation, what's the due process then? And maybe if you can also just kind of address the comments that were made in regard to that and what the legality is around it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. So the director's authority is codified in Chapter 66, which came before council a couple months back, and that's all in 66-17. That sets forth the process so that everybody can refer to that one if they do receive a trespass notice. But essentially what the director would do is put together a written notice providing the recipient, I guess I'll call them, with the notice of the allegations, what the concerns are, and how long the restriction will be in place. And it can be no longer than 6 months. So it could be anything shorter than that. It could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Maybe we just need somebody to calm down for a couple of days, something like that. But he'll send a written notice that'll go to the recipient. Let me scroll down here just to go through what our code says here. So the nature, scope, and length of that enforcement action, and then they will give them instructions on how to appeal that notice if they do want the opportunity to be heard. All of that language will be in the notice that's provided to that individual. And then the person who is trespassed, if they do want to file a notice of appeal or anything like that, they file that actually directly with our Arvada Municipal Court. So within 14 days, once they receive their notice, they've got 2 weeks to file something with the Arvada Municipal Court, asking the court to review the notice and issue, or consider any evidence or consider any additional findings or something like that. And then once it's turned over to the court's going to step in and then take a look at the initial notice, whatever evidence is provided by the individual who's being trespassed, and then they've got 21 days to render a decision on the matter. So they will issue a written decision so that it's clear for the record what they did consider, what their findings are, and then that will be relayed both to the director and then to the individual who is being trespassed. But all of that is codified in Chapter 66. And then where that is a little bit different is in Chapter 62 when there is a crime committed. So when there's a crime committed, you'll follow the no trespass order procedure. That's issued by a police officer. Then you'd go to the judge. They're actually pretty similar processes, but the no trespass order in the event of a criminal enforcement action is actually going to be in effect for 12 months. And there's no really, I think, opportunity to I guess there is an opportunity to shorten that, but a petition can't be filed in less than 6 months. So it's actually longer if the police department is involved, the court is involved. If there's a crime, essentially, that's involved, that process is going to be a little bit more extensive and a little bit longer, but that's going to be codified in Chapter 62.
So just to add to that really quick, one of the things I wanted to point out for council to take into consideration with regard to this particular process, we as an employer have an obligation to protect our employees. Particularly, we have this process for criminal conduct, and that's okay, and we've got extensive due process with that. But we also have a legal obligation to protect our employees from things like discrimination and harassment. And that includes discrimination or harassment that occurs from a customer, and we have had that happen. That's what created the need in our mind to implement this code of conduct. So I wanted to address for a little bit just the type of due process we're offering. So as Ms. Strickler has explained, due process requires an opportunity to be heard. It does not require that the opportunity to be heard precede the trespass notice or that trespass order. The benefit for us as that employer, following through on our legal obligations, if we include that opportunity for a hearing up front and don't have any sort of mechanism in place to really protect those employees in the meantime, we have the potential of having that same harasser come back and interact with our employees. So I just wanted to point that out for council.
No, I greatly appreciate both explanations. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Griffith.
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't play golf. Clearly, it's a more intense sport than I had imagined. I just wanted to make the comment on something like this. I think, I trust staff, if this is something you say you need, as another tool to make sure that we're protecting our folks that are working at these facilities. I think that, I trust your judgment there. But I wanted to take a second just to acknowledge that if we have people that are acting inappropriately at our facilities, I don't want us to be shy about calling APD and just taking care of business. That's not okay. So that's it.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Okay, I think I know the answers to this, but I think it's good to clarify. Is the golf program an enterprise? It is, right? An enterprise is a business, is it not? Okay. So if I'm a business owner, which I've been one, and I say, you've been inappropriate in my toy store, for you that know, I had a toy store in Old Town, and I said it was inappropriate because you were cussing around kids, and that was my rules, I can trespass you off my property as a business for as long as I want, right? Okay. So the golf is operating as a business. Let's just be clear about that, and they can make their rules. So we got that answered, right? We all understand that. Now, what's interesting is there's a big debate around, we were trespassing people out of parks. So if you want to say, well, it's public land, it's parks. Do we trespass people off parks?
We have. I
Right.
believe we have.
Right. Difference is at a golf course, I can't just walk on a golf course for free like a park. But we trespass in both ways, even a public park where you can walk out and we can be trespassed. We've also trespassed somebody out of Old Town, have we not? Okay. All right. So it's not, just because it's public doesn't mean it. It also doesn't mean that a golf course is public as in a free park. It's also private property, is it not? Technically, it's bought with taxpayer dollars, but it's not, I cannot just walk on the golf course and golf. I got to pay to be there. I got to be a patron of it. So it's not really, it's private property, is it not? You pay for use, yeah, pay for use.
Yes, pay for use. I think when we're talking about, it's technically owned by the government, so it would be public property, but with that element of a private business.
So let me give you an example. CDOT owns highways, federal, state, it's private property. So just because it's owned by the state, just owned by the feds, doesn't mean that anyone can use it. You pay for a license fee. You can't go camp underneath the bridges. There's signs. It's trespassing. So just want to make sure we're all level set because of public comments not quite accurate. So that I agree with this completely. I will say the scenario you gave about protecting the employee was a discussion we had the first time, putting on. We didn't even have cameras inside of the bars. And we had a patron that was harassing our employees and had, to the first time, I think, we 86'd the individual, or however you want to do it in this day and age, but we kicked him out, and it created a big hoopla. And at the same time, I think the golf advisory, which, Sharon, were you on that? I think you were, started. So there's history on this. So I appreciate that you're fine-tuning it, you're finding your balance. This is a real issue. And I think that it's important for us to really support our staff and our team and the patrons because obviously I do golf. It's not as intense as they're painting it for you if you like to come out with me. I don't go very often, so don't expect anything great. But, we can go out there, and I think the most exciting part is you get to drive a cart on grass. So as long as everyone's playing nice. But I think that it's important to have that fair play and that when I go out there to play that we have rules that should be civil on the golf courses. So I appreciate you fine-tuning it. I think it's actually better. It seems to me that you've improved it from our first go-round for the years. So I'm completely supportive, and I think you guys are doing a great job. And I know the need. I've seen it. I know why. So it's important.
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. Made that a little longer. Okay. I do golf. I have my own clubs and, most importantly, my own shoes. So I was on the now defunct Golf Advisory Committee. It has been folded into the Park Advisory Committee, and so. In my former life, having worked for another municipality that had 6 golf courses, I was surprised that we didn't have stronger language for code of conduct. So I am very happy to see this language in here. And as we say that the director can trespass somebody for up to 6 months, and then the police department up to a year. I do know that there are golf courses in that system where people can't even go to any 6 of the golf courses for disruptive activity, going from one golf course and then going to another one within the system, and there was no way to track that person. So I think that this is really important, and as I was looking at Apex, Denver Parks and Rec, South Suburban, and some of the private courses, I was happy to see language that was pulled from some of those and put into our conduct. I would also, now that we are going to make this a thing and enforceable code, I would like to see a couple of different things. Maybe it would be posted in each of the clubhouses or put on the scorecards in some way where there's a QR code so you can look at the code of conduct for each of the courses. I think that just reinforces and reminds people of how their expectations of their behavior. And really, I think the most fun on a golf course really is shanking your ball right into a water hazard. There's not a better feeling. So thank you so much for all of this.
Councilmember Ambrose.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick note of supporting Mr. Stevenson and having this authority. I think it's a good move, and I appreciate how you've directed this policy, so thank you for your leadership.
Absolutely. Councilmember Mormon.
Thank you. I too will be supporting this and have I think at the beginning of my tenure on council, we had some significant issues around this topic, so I do remember that well. And I would also like to reserve the right for the motion, if that's all right.
I see no additional lights, so with that note, I will be supporting the motion as well. And Mr. Stevenson, we have had issues with this, and just like anywhere, our staff does not deserve to suffer the abuse just because it happens to be a government facility. So behave and there won't be an issue. All right, Mr. Mormon.
Thank you. I move that R26-028, a resolution adopting a golf course facility visitor code of conduct, be approved.
All right. All votes are cast. That passes 7-0. Thank you very much. We have one item for first reading today. This is why I like paper. This is why I use the paper.
All right. There it is. Got it. All right. I move that CB 26-015, an ordinance authorizing an additional appropriation for fiscal year 2026, be approved on first reading, order published in full, and a public hearing set for April 21st, 2026 at 6:15 p.m.
All right. All votes will be cast. All votes are cast. That passes 7-0. Thank you very much. We have no hearings this evening, so I will open us now to the 5-minute public comment. Is there anyone in chambers who wishes to speak at this time for the 5-minute limit? Yes, ma'am, please come forward. I would say blue shirt, but you both have on blue shirts.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. My name's Patty Shannon. I live in Trail Village Villas in West Arvada. I wanted to speak for a moment about dieldrin, which is a chemical that's been banned since, I think, the 80s. It's often used in greenhouse operations. And it can enter the bloodstream by breathing dust contaminated by dieldrin or touching soil that's contaminated. And the impact to the human body can be, it stays in your body for a long time, even years, can cause headaches, dizziness, irritability, vomiting, uncontrollable muscle movements, and can even cause the body to destroy its own blood cells. It is a probable human carcinogen, and it can travel large distances by attaching to dust particles and be blown with the wind. So I say all of that to ask my questions It's my understanding that the city owns property at 51st and Marshall, about 3 acres, that was a former greenhouse. Dieldrin was found there in the Corn and Associates report in 2015. The property was uniformly impacted by dieldrin, exceeding the EPA levels for residential and industrial. And I guess my question is, what's the plan for remediation? Is the dieldrin contamination so significant that it's unbuildable? There are apartments adjacent to that land and a huge new development that's just built across the street. So what's being done to protect the public safety? Because it's windy, and I'm very concerned that if dieldrin is in that ground and the ground has not been properly addressed and remediated, are we exposing residents to a potential cancer-causing chemical? Thank you.
If a member of a team, if you give your information, a member of the team will get back to you, but I can at least, I rarely do this, I rarely respond to public comment, but I will say we have actually had that land remediated. I don't know in terms of the specific chemical, but we have had that land remediated. So a member of the team will be in contact with you to discuss this specific issue. Okay. With that, Mr. Rawlick, did I see that you wish to go again?
Completely different set of topics at first. Talking about data centers. Denver is looking at doing a 1-year moratorium on data centers. Obviously, it's a pretty big data center as talked about downtown. This is something that I've already spoken about. In the 3.1.3.9 section of the code, it says for City of Arvada that the data center, the use shall not be located within 300 feet of the boundary of a residential zoning district. That's fair. Maybe it should be a little bit bigger as we're learning about ultra-low frequency, high frequency that goes on 24/7. But the worry here is the gap that someone might apply here is mixed use. Suburban is not a residential zoning district. It's conditional use. Mixed use transit is not a residential zone district. It's conditional residential. So the worry here would be as you have mixed uses, they might not count as a residential zone district, and someone can apply and get closer than that 300 feet. And that wouldn't be protective of those residents. So you'd have a disparity between the setback between a residential zone district and mixed use, Old Town, what have you, that has residential kind of included into it. So it might be a really good idea to look at that. And I was looking at different sizes of data centers. Some are really small, 5,000 square foot. Some get small, medium, 5 to 20,000 square foot. Large, go 10,000 to 100,000. Then you get the ones that make it to the big news. Consequently, when I flew over the Micron facility going into Boise, I was pretty interested. I was looking down. I was like, well, that's a pretty huge site. And also looked it up after we got back to Denver. And the interesting thing is they are required by the city to recycle about 75 or 80% of their water. They have to recapture, recycle, and reuse, and that was a deal. So that might be something to look forward to also, knowing that we are on water restrictions. We're trying to save 20% of 4.6 billion gallons a year. That's 920 million gallons. So if this comes up, that might be an interesting situation as well. Water, energy, possibly, rooftop solar on site, things like that to make sure that they're self-sufficient. So just a thought there. Regarding the Jefferson County Comprehensive Master Plan, it was, as a Jeffco resident, I was kind of dismayed to see that there wasn't one comment by Arvada towards a comprehensive master plan, even though there's a lot of land that borders. And Bob, I really appreciate the fact that you mentioned that there's people like me who can come and speak to you because your decisions affect me because I'm here in Arvada more than Golden. So it's interesting. We have enclaves as well that haven't been annexed yet as well, so they would be comprehensive, Jeffco comprehensive master plan specific, but still within the confines. So that would be an interesting situation to take a look at as well. The vote is tomorrow. Hopefully there can still be some changes to that as well. Regarding the Dieldrin and 51st and Marshall situation, I did have questions about that as well. I do a core with CDPHE, and I also have a Cora that I did here. And unfortunately, if we can find the remediation, that would be great, because the Cora custodian didn't know much about it. And this is one of the things I got. No emails met the search parameters of any email between the city of Arvada and the domain @state.co.us containing any of the addresses listed, which was 50 Forest and Marshall and the sub-addresses. There were 8 emails that met the parameters, but none from CDPHE. And that's what I got back from the Cora custodian. It's difficult to search state emails, as many agencies use the same email domain. So there are many emails with us @state.co.us, just not from CDPHE. And when I did the CDPHE Cora through Hazmat, which would normally be the ones to do VCUPs and specialized cleanups, they sent me over to Water Quality Control Division, and that's where we found the ESA Phase 2. So Hazmat didn't know about this property either. So there might be a little bit of a gap, even if it's remediated, maybe getting it on record. Because the only thing that's how we found the limited Phase 2 from Korn and Associates was actually through Water Quality Control Division. So Pearl Campos had sent me over to, I think the gentleman's name is Frank Dale over there, and that's how we found out about all the 10 sites that were affected by dieldrin. So with that in mind, might be an interesting thing to take a look at, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Yes, please come back.
Hi, Debbie Bacon again. I also wanted to talk about a couple of things. First, a thank you for updating the sidewalks along 80th. I know a lot of my neighbors are already talking about how it's easier for them to walk around with their walkers and stuff. The company that did all of that concrete work, however, has left some potholes in the blacktop that needs to be addressed. Also, on a completely different note, several of my neighbors and I, and also several people that I work out with at Apex, have been having conversations lately about kids and e-bikes. I've also been having conversations about kids and e-bikes with people that I work with. I am a JEPCO school teacher. Kids are riding their e-bikes without helmets on sidewalks, on the streets, weaving in and out of traffic, popping wheelies in front of cars, disregarding red lights, disregarding stop signs. I don't see how this is safe for anybody, and it would break my heart to have somebody injured or lose their life because of this unsafe behavior not being reined in. You know, I've looked at different places. I have asked our school resource officers at various schools what can be done about it. There's not a lot of things that are written specifically addressing minors on e-bikes. This is an issue that is near and dear to my heart just because I have had friends who have been injured because a vehicle that they were in was struck by an e-bike. Granted, being ridden by an adult, but still. And this is also something that I'm going to be bringing up with the JEPCO School Board so that maybe they can address it, because there's also unsafe behaviors going on school grounds. I do not see any reason that elementary school kids should be riding e-bikes to school. I do not see any reason why middle school kids should be riding e-bikes that can sometimes go 25 and 30 miles an hour to school. So I would like for the city of Arvada and for JEPCO Public Schools to consider addressing this before something drastic happens. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in chambers who would like to give public comment at this time? Seeing none, I will close the second public comment and open it to City Council for Council Committee reports. Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Actually, I don't have reports. I just have questions for the team since we've heard a little bit. On the comprehensive planning discussion that Mike brought up, I recall in the past that we do interact with our jurisdictions around us. I think like the Wheat Ridge one, we dealt with Ridge Road or whatever, and because that Horse 2 sent out, we do engage at that level, don't we, from the comp plan?
We do. And we had some involvement from the staff level while they were going through their public sessions.
Okay, so there's been engagement there. And then he brought up a good point about the data centers. Is this a good opportunity that we should probably revisit that about maybe putting some sustainability rules around the data centers? Because I don't want to discourage them because they are good from a lot of perspectives. I mean, but I do worry about the sustainability of them. I used to design data centers, and I know some do zero water, but maybe we should look at our code around data center. Like they have to have so much solar or green energy, or the recycling of water is not a bad idea. And then the zoning, is there an opportunity here? Should we just look at that just because that could happen? With the warehouses that are getting popped up in West Arvada and stuff, there might be opportunities that might pop up which are really close to residential. Is that something we can look at? I know we haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
Because we never think of ourselves that way. And then the last thing is more for you, Rachel, the e-bikes. I know other cities are doing this, but I like us to bring an update to maybe our ordinance where we mandate court and hold the parents accountable with a higher minimum fine. The feedback I'm getting is the parents don't care what the police have to say. And I know Aurora recently showed a problem that on the traffic cams, and I think their ordinance is very similar to what I just stated. Is that, I don't want to sit here and the problem's getting festering, and the parents are just giving the bird to our cops. So I just rather kind of start thinking about it a little bit more, holding people accountable, because this elementary and middle school thing is a real thing. And today on my way here, the parent actually dropped off the little motorcycles across the street, 2 of them, put them on the sidewalk and left so that the kids can ride their motorcycles home, not on property. And they're actually gas ones. They're not even electric ones. So they're, which I thought, holy cow, how bold. They know it's wrong. They know they can't have them on maybe the school property, but they were blunt enough to drop them off for the kids to take, and then they left. And they just left them on the sidewalk. So I think we need to kind of revisit that ordinance and make it a little bit stiffer, because one, it's hard for the cops to catch, and when they do, the parents don't care.
We can certainly do some research on that and reach out to Aurora and various other municipalities to see what they're doing.
Yeah, and if you could bring maybe propose an ordinance for the council to debate on, that would be awesome.
Okay.
If that's okay with the council, at least have a discussion around it.
Thank you, Councilmember Pfeiffer. I was going to say we're not allowed to provide singular direction.
No, but
however,
I want to have it in a public forum where we could debate.
I appreciate that, and I also, I'll just throw it out there, would be interested in seeing something along these lines, because I agree that this is an issue, and as a mother who's a child in an elementary school, we see this, and I have concerns too.
What if we bring back information first?
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
council can provide some input, and then after that, we can look at writing something.
Yeah, just something to move the needle on this, because I think it's frustrating, not only law enforcement, residents, both for and against, and I think our judicial system. So anything that we can show some movement on this, would be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Mayor Pro Tem Mormon.
Thank you. Yes, I echo the comments of my fellow council members. This is a very important issue, and I appreciate you coming forward tonight and bringing it forward, because it's been a problem throughout our city, and I certainly see it in our neighborhood. So I would love for us to look at what other ways we can, or what more can we do. So thank you for that. A couple of announcements. One is this Saturday, the Arvada Center is having its Arts for All Gala. It'll be a 70s birthday party, because we're celebrating 50 years of the Arvada Center. So come out and party with us and put on your best 70s disco vibe. It should be lots of fun. And then, of course, this Friday is the State of the City address, Friday morning, so I encourage you all to come and support the city in that. And then my last comment is, I am so happy you are back, Mayor Simpson. I may be the happiest one here, but thank you so much for your support and faith in us while you were absent for a much needed purpose, and we are just so happy you're back. Thank you.
I'm very happy to be back. Councilmember Ambrose.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Yes, welcome back. And I just have two short updates. One is that Councilmember Mormon and I met with as the audit committee because the audit is starting, and so it's a great way to showcase the fiscal responsibility of the city. So looking forward to audit information coming out later this year. And the other thing is that there's going to be a celebration for Adams County, the open space sales tax. So Adams County Arvada is one of the recipients. And so I really appreciate the collaboration we have with Adams counties to improve that part of the city. That's all I have.
Councilmember Levison.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Welcome back. Happy to have you back. So as the liaison for the bid, just wanted to give a couple updates. One being that I'm really deep diving with staff to wrap my head around the strategic reinvestment plan. It was brought up by a business owner, and just so I'm understanding the vision set before I came on and what we're doing so I can communicate that. Also, we've been talking just a little bit about street ceiling in Old Town. Maybe it's seeing a facelift. Things still need to be confirmed, but that could be a potential collaboration with arts and culture. So just seeing, so maybe we'll have Old Town with a facelift. We'll have more information, and we are talking with business owners to make sure that we are working with them on that. And finally, just a water reminder. Don't turn on your irrigation till Mother's Day. Please just keep bringing the buckets out and keep that 10 to 6 rule, so don't water after 10 a.m. or before 6 p.m. And then within that conversation, we're doing a lot in the city. Another topic we have discussed, again, no decisions have been made, but what that will look like for things like the splash pad in Old Town. So just a thought, get those pools you can fill up where water's not running, get those water tables for your kids, and think about ways we can conserve. Conserve is the key word here.
Thank you very much. Echo those thoughts. Councilmember Davis.
Don't forget about the Kite Festival on Sunday. It's going to be super fun, and I understand there's going to be a good breeze. So get your kites up in the air. I am excited about the celebration, and I am accepting gifts that day as well because it is my birthday.
Well, very happy birthday to you. I'll call out the musical theater reference from the first public comment. Thank you for that. I'm the musical theater nerd that he was speaking to with that. And speaking of musical theater, Come From Away, I believe is it open now? Yeah. It opened a week ago, and I haven't had the opportunity to see it yet. I do have my tickets for later in the run, but I have seen this show twice, and I will hands down say it is one of the best shows of the past 20 years. If you're missing it, you're missing out. Get your tickets. It is well worth seeing. It'll make you feel good about people, and I think we can use a little more of that right now. And speaking of feeling good, as you can see, I am back. I am very thrilled to be back. I just want to thank everybody so much for your support and the community as well. I've received so many cards and emails and phone calls and thoughtful messages from as far away as New York. I am not kidding. It's been incredible. And so just from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. It truly has made recovery a lot easier. You know, cancer is never an easy thing to face, but I am thrilled to say that the doctors were successful. We have removed the tumors. They are gone. I'm at a very low risk of recurrence. It's never zero, but I have about the best prognosis possible, and I'm very excited to say that in layman's terms, I am cancer-free. So, very excited about that. Thank you, everybody, for your support, and to the doctors to help take care of me in that time, and the nurses. So with that, Mr. Wick, do you have anything for us this evening?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Next week, we have 2 workshops. One is the City Attorney's Annual Update and also the Municipal Court's Annual Update. So we'll look forward to both of those. And then tomorrow, during the day, the Juntos Hispanic Network Group, who is holding their conference, some of those members will be visiting Arvada, and the Visitor Center will be hosting them to see the exciting things that exist in Old Town and some of the surrounding areas with some of the development work that has been done over the past few years. So we're looking forward to seeing that group here tomorrow. And this is really being advocated by a person who works for Adams County, that we partner with here at the city quite regularly. He happens to be an officer level member of the network, and he lives here in Arvada. And it's great that he advocates for Arvada and has brought his group here. So we look forward to that tomorrow. And otherwise, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Morris?
Just wanted to say my team and I have been working on our annual update for next week. We are super excited to present to council, and we'll see you then.
Excellent. We have a continuation of the informal meeting upstairs. So council, it is technically still the public meeting if anybody wants to join us. So council, we will reconvene upstairs for the informal meeting. Thank you so much.